Hey, what's up, my coin collecting bros and sisters out there? Okay, all right, I'm never gonna do that again. Uh, it's your boy Blue, back with another Pocket Change Market Report. Hey, it's Wednesday. We're actually dropping this on time. We might be back to a regular schedule. We'll see what the next 6 weeks have in store. One thing's for sure, we're gonna be back on the schneid, if you know what I mean, as far as getting these out Wednesdays and Saturdays for you. Probably more likely after Labor Day. When things just overall just settle down, with like vacations and things like that. Even I'm pretty busy. When the missus comes a calling and she wants to do something specific, the common sense thing to say is, sure, honey, let's do it. But I cannot ignore my peeps out there that's still going out there and doing their thing. There's a lot of stuff to be found out there. This is just plain straight up evidence in this video of some of the potential that's out there. A lot of coins and paper money floating around the system today. Um, and it's not just by going through, searching through change, but also going to the bank, buying that bank strap, buying a bank brick, buying a box of coin or something like that to go through. All right. And, we can't also forget that there is a whole other world of possibility by simply just knowing your stuff, cherry picking local coin shops and shows. There's plenty to find out there, ladies and gentlemen. If you think the coin dealers have found everything to this point, you guys are totally wrong. Because they do leave a lot of low hanging fruit out there for folks like you and I to take advantage of. So, what do we have for July 24, 2024? Is nothing short of spectacular. I mean, we have up and down just a really stacked lineup of pieces. Even in the heat of summer, things are still selling very well. Now, a few kind of ground rules in case you guys haven't figured it out. We talk about errors and varieties that people have found in change and out there in the wild. We don't talk about graded coins. All right. The idea is you find these in some capacity, you turn around and you relist them on eBay. And then finally, all of the images you see here today are 100% original to the seller's listings. And my goodness, do we have kind of a smorgasbord of different photos? I don't know what to say. I'm just kind of left shaking my head sometimes, but we'll talk about it without, completely ragging on, the people that take those photos because there is opportunity. Maybe they're new. That's also important. All right, so like usual, quick little calendar of events coming up off of Whatnot. All right, I do sell on this platform along with eBay. We have 2 shows a week. We have the Budget Buster show on Tuesdays, which was just last night, and then we also have a Friday show. The U.S. Type and Bullion Showcase will be on here as well coming up in a couple days, and these shows generally start at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 Eastern. Great evening show, right after dinner or maybe before dinner, depending on where you're at. But yeah, we sell some pretty nice stuff, for a very, very good price. You'd be hard pressed to find anything remotely close to some of the realized prices that we have generated off of these sales. A lot of people are scoring some big time deals, and I go out of my way, folks, to find some of the best kind of unique stuff that nobody else sells. So there is that also. So if you were at all interested and you're new to the platform, come join up. You could use my referral link down below in the description box or simply tap the link that I also have provided in the comments section as well. You could earn yourself $15 on me off of anything that you so desire, whether it's through my stream or someone else on the platform. Every major collectible is not excluded from the $15 off. So if you're into sports cards, awesome. You could save $15 there. You could get some silver for free. You could get a comic book, maybe at a discounted rate, or you could buy one for free with that $15. It's really cool. So check it out. Auctions are going on daily. All right, let's go ahead and jump into some of these selections. Again, we got a stacked lineup. And always keep in mind, these are floating around out there. Keep your eyes peeled. Look for these. 1969D $1 bill. Okay, we notice that there is what looks to be an image, a very faint image of the reverse print on the front. So this is a partial back to front wet ink transfer is what these are normally referred to. All right, similar to what a die clash is on coinage, the plates actually make contact with the impression cylinder. Usually there's a subject sheet in there to receive the print. Now if there's no sheet, or maybe there's a fold to the corner of one of the sheets, that ink will be transferred onto the impression cylinder instead. So when the next actual full complete sheet gets fed into that area of print, whatever was on that impression cylinder, which is normally going to be a reverse image, will be printed on whatever is on that side, whether it's the front of the sheet or the back of the sheet. In this case, it was the front of the sheet with the second print process on there, which is all that black ink there. So this one here, I mean, can't believe we're starting out with this thing. Someone paid $135.55 for this note as a buy it now hit. You could see that just based off of the overall condition, this one did not spend a whole lot of time in circulation. So it was found very early, and as you can see, not graded. Sometimes that's just not a necessity. Keep the money in your pocket. Well, I'm really happy to see these things are still selling very well. Now, kind of like the caveat to all this is that you're going to find an example of this that is still in relatively good shape. Keep in mind, this coin is 3 years old already. So this is referred to as the K3 to K7 retain cut die break, as you can see there on the obverse. So what does K3, K7 mean? It's actually the numbers on a clock. So K3 would be the 3 o'clock position. K7 would be the 7 o'clock position. So you can see the entry and exit points to that die break crack that starts at K3 to K7. In addition, there's a pretty nice sized die break right in the middle there under Lincoln's chin. So this is one of the biggest finds out there. Originally, these were dropped in the Tidewater area of Virginia. I would say 3 years later, some of this has probably kind of migrated all throughout the mid-Atlantic area of the United States, maybe in other places as well. I've heard of people finding these in New York State as well. So this one is in great shape. It ended up selling for $290.99 with 17 bids. Again, the key is finding one that's going to be in this kind of condition while it's not like perfectly gem choice type of grade. But maybe one that's like a 64 grade. Those are kind of meaningful today for a collector. Pretty similar here, but not really. This is a Lincoln Memorial cent, but check that out. We don't really see a readable date. According to the seller, you can make out the 199, but we don't know what the last digit is. So that area where the date is, there was actually some grease on that area on the die. All right, so the grease is applied pretty liberally on the dies as a way of making sure that the mid presses are running smoothly. Just like an automobile, you get a regular scheduled oil change, you grease up the chassis, and you do a bunch of other maintenance things to machinery so that way they last longer. The mid presses is one of those things as well. Not a big sale. This one ended up selling for $3.99 with a couple of bids. Not saying that this coin is completely worthless because it did sell for 400 times face value. I know this sounds pretty grandiose for the fact that it only sold for $4, but it did sell for a lot more than what the face value is. That does count for something. And keep in mind, you're going to sell a lot of these more cheaper items to go along with the much bigger items. All of that extra profit, the gross profit after, the net profit after all of the fees and shipping come out, they all go in the same bucket. And then what you do with that is completely up to you. Either you feed back to your business or do something else pretty cool with it. All right, so $4 sale. It is what it is. We also have a 1981A $1 bill, which looks and appears to have some sort of miscut, misaligned kind of print here on this one. Now we see that the second print, which is the dark black print with George Washington and all that stuff, is up and to the left. All right, so it's quite a bit misaligned. But what does the reverse look like? If the reverse looks like it's up and to the right, I believe is what it will be, then more likely it's going to be a miscut, and the overprint will just be misaligned on there. And it looks good. I mean, it's relatively centered on the note, which indicates that the second print was misaligned. The sheet overall was a little bit shifted when the front print was applied. All right, not the overprint, but the front print, the main character design of the front of the note. This one right here is sold for $39.90. Pretty good sale for what it is. Nothing too dramatic. Usually the misaligned overprints of the third print are worth a lot more money because they're just so much more dramatic. All right, we don't talk about these that often, but I figure this is a good opportunity to at least kind of bring it up as kind of a footnote. So these duplicate star notes of 2013, they're going to have a B in the district seal, and you will want to check out mycurrencycollection.com just to make sure that you do indeed have one of the duplicate stars in the run. Now, why do they call them duplicate star notes? Well, back in 2013, the Bureau of Engraving and Printing actually produced star notes already that were 2013 Bs from the Washington, D.C. facility. Fast forward about 6 years later, and they actually reprinted the same serial number range, only at the Fort Worth facility. So there was some extra confusion here. They ended up just circulating the whole bunch. They didn't scrap what they had produced. It was too late by then. So the idea is there's going to be matching pairs of serial numbers that are just going to have the DC and the Fort Worth printings on there. So yeah, this is a lot of 16. This is actually a very big lot here. $379.68 is the sale price on this, and yeah, that seems about right. On average, the notes go for about $20. You're probably going to do yourself a lot more favors if you sold them individually. I've seen these go up to $40, $50, $60 a piece, especially when someone spies a note that they need to pair up with another note from the corresponding print facility. So yeah, we're looking at somewhere around $23 a note here on this lot. And 1982 Lincoln Memorial Cent. This is actually a bronze large date, and it's got a cut die break right there on We and Trust on the obverse. So a piece of the die had fractured, broken, fallen out, and then when it produces more coins, it's going to come up like this, where all that metal flow goes into that empty cavity of the die. This one sold for $65.43 off of 11 bids. And yeah, here's one of the more sketch type of photos. And it's unfortunate. It's actually a very big coin that could have sold for a lot more money. This Lincoln Memorial Cent has a pretty substantial cut die break on the obverse. And you can see the weakness on the reverse, which is what you want to see on the reverse of wherever that cut is, especially one that's quite this big. So that die, man, was on its way out. A big old chunk of the die had disappeared at this point. Here is what it said and some of those images on the listing. And I'm going to say that this person has a feedback score of 434. At this point, you'd figure they have it kind of figured out as far as how to take good, clear, concise photos. And the title that they use for this listing, unknown's not even spelled right, year, strike, error, penny, Doesn't even say the word cud in there. And cud, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the big key search terms that people use on the platform. So obviously there's some improvements that need to be made here. A nice, clearer, larger image. You could crop your images on your phone device or on eBay. eBay actually has a pretty decent editing tool that you could use. But yeah, you read that right. This thing sold for $58.95 with 3 bids. Again, there's a lot of extra meat on the bone, a lot that was left on the table here. I've seen similar ones sell for $80 to $100 or higher, really depending on condition. This one looks pretty decent. It's just there are some things in the listing that kind of fall flat on this one. And kind of like a 180-degree turn here. Fox Coins does a really good job with their listings. They probably, I would say, go a little bit above and beyond for their customers. I've actually bought a number of coins from Fox Coins, but you can see just, the extra addition of what the coin is, the RPM. You will receive the exact coin, so that way it's not a file photo or anything like that. But yeah, this is a pretty notable RPM. It's also the FS 501 in the Cherry Picker's Guide. This one features a pretty wild double D on there. So the secondary Denver mint mark was punched west of the primary. All right, prior to 1990, the mint marks were punched by hand into the working die. So things like this did occur. Again, that's part of the human element, the error of sorts of the prep of a lot of the things that come with making today's money. Even to this day in 2024, there's still mistakes that are made. So this is a pretty big one here. It is a top RPM in the Cherry Picker's Guide variety. How about this for a deal? $14.99. I've sold these for a lot more, for about $20-$25. So there is obviously some room. The coin is in great shape. It's not damaged or anything, but one to keep an eye out for. 1976D Lincoln Memorial Cent. This one is a double struck error. The secondary strike is punched about 75% off center. You do have a full readable date, which is great. There's some black crud on the memorial on the reverse. I would say if I had to, maybe use a rose thorn to try and pull away some of that grease, but don't use anything that's not organic because it'll just end up scratching the coin. This one right here, let's see, ended up selling for $94.28. That's par for the course for a double struck coin of this type, especially the out of collar type that you see here. Very nice coin. One of the more surprising listings, I would say, is this 1984p Roosevelt dime with just a little old cud die break on the reverse. It's right there above the word America, so it's pretty close to a rim cud, but it actually goes into the design a little bit. This one, how about this for a sale? $98.68 with 8 bids. Again, Roosevelt dimes have all of a sudden kind of emerged into the marketplace as a collectible that people want, I guess. It might be the news of the redesign of the 2026 Roosevelt dime, or dime in general, that they're going to be producing for the 250th anniversary. There might be a little bit of resurgence kind of like revolving around that story. So it's kind of cool to see. The Roosevelt dime series has been kind of the butt of the joke for quite a while now. It's good to see some life being breathed back into this. Another great repunch mint mark, 1953 D over D. The coin is okay. It's nothing too crazy. It's got general circulation wear, a few contact marks that are a little bit distracting, but it is what it is. It's just, it kind of comes with circulating coinage. This one right here, the secondary Denver mint mark, is punched west of the primary. It's actually a nice one. This one is RPM number 2, and it's sold for $23.75. We have a couple nice earlier dated Lincoln Wheat broad strikes. Okay, these are out of collar. The collar wasn't there when these were struck. 1935p is the first one. You can see that the coin is quite a bit bigger than what a standard Lincoln cent is. You can see the extra material all the way around. Kind of flared up as well. So when there's no collar, it's not going to stop the metal flow from going beyond what the normal size of a Lincoln cent is. So this one right here sold for $69. That was actually a buy it now best offer accepted amount by both the seller and buyer. Pretty cool one there. And we also have a 37 broad strike. Nothing too crazy. It's considered an uncentered broad strike. There's a few carbon spots to note. Yeah, but overall, pretty neat coin here. This one is sold for $40. That was a buy it now hit as well. Here's a 1995 $5 bill. You're never going to guess. There's something missing on this note. I just can't put my finger on it, you know. I swear there's some like green ink on the front of this. Yeah, you named it. The serial numbers and the green seal are all missing. Typically they refer to it as insufficient ink. It's just those particular ink wells that are working in tandem with the printing plates were dry. All right, they needed a refill. This one right here, as you can tell, is just a really nice peach of a plum of a note. Found very early. This thing is crispy uncirculated. The reverse indicates that. This one sold for a whopper $361.50 with a couple of bids in there. Here's another broad strike, following closely behind by those two 1930s. Here, how about 46? All right, this one's sold by Telstar Coins, who's one of the bigger dealers of errors and varieties on eBay. Still doing his thing. This one, nice centered broad strike. Very, very presentable coin as well. Here's a nice side-by-side that this seller does with a regular Lincoln cent, so you can see just the size difference here. This one ended up selling for $36.45. One of the more impressive coins. And boy, this thing, I cannot believe this coin is only 2 years old. But this Roosevelt dime, yeah, again, it's missing a nickel-clad layer on the reverse. It looks legit. It's not like a clamshell. It's been helped out from what I can see. But yeah, this thing is pretty dang impressive, folks. So I was more than shocked that this one ended up selling for $85.36 with 17 bids. We don't see other coins quite like this sell for that kind of money, usually for like 20 to 40 bucks. But considering that this is a 2-year-old Roosevelt dime with this mint error, that's a shocker, folks. I mean, you just don't see that on much newer coins, but, this day and age, nothing surprises me anymore. 1985 $5 bill. Again, kind of a wacky piece here. Yeah, so it looks like it's miscut. It's missing all of the overprint, but it does have embossing because you can see the where the black district seal is with the letter D in there. So the plates had made contact with the sheet to produce that embossing. If we looked at the reverse of the note, yeah, it tells a little bit of a different story. It did make contact because it printed the overprint on the back of the note and not the front. So the sheet, either the sheet was cattywampus in the stack or something happened here for this to happen. Probably affected every single note on that sheet, all 32 or 40 of them or however many were on that subject sheet. I mean, this one is just crazy. $625, and that's with 25 bids. This is effectively one of the more desirable paper money errors that you will ever come across. But if you did find one in the wild and it's legit, it's the real deal, and it's priced a little bit affordably where you can make some money, I would say take it all day long. And we do cover some of the old stuff. It's 1804, 19th century. That's what I meant to say. 1804, half cent. It's the Crosslet 4 variety, but it does have, guess what? A sheet clip right there under the date. Yeah, so even the older coins get modern type of errors that we see on like Lincoln cents and stuff. Um, so I gotta tell you, minor errors like this doesn't add a whole ton of value. Sometimes it's actually a detractor. Collectors of this type of coin, they prefer the minor mint errors to be left off of these. You know, it just is what it is. This one right here sold for $113.50 with 26 bids. Very nice sale. Here's a 1983 Jefferson nickel, and guess what? It's got a nice, cute little cut die break right above the word "we" and "trust" on the obverse. Yeah, a little bit of piece of the die had broken there on the obverse, and this particular one sold for $23.77. Always look out for those beater Indian head cents. I mean, there's some good stuff to be found. How about this 1863 Indian head cent that could have been purchased for a song and a dance? What do we got? It looks like there's a retain cut or a pre-cut on the reverse there at the 3 o'clock position of the wreath. You can see a pretty hefty die crack that goes from the rim through the design. There's obviously some displacement there, and then it exits somewhere where the arrow tip is. Looks like there was a pretty significant scratch. That looks like a scratch. It could be a strike through. I'm probably leaning more toward of a scratch on something that's this well worn. It's not a particularly high grade specimen either. So this one sold for $19.03 with 16 bids, and it's a coin that, folks, in this condition, and it is a common date of the thicker white cents, is what they call it, because they're copper and nickel. Traditionally, these do sell for about $4 or $5. Especially the 62 and 63. They're two of the more common dates. We had one of these on the last PCMR episode, but we got another one here, again, from the same seller. I believe this is a Telstar 1970D Washington quarter that was struck on dime thickness stock. This is a great one to look out for. These are all quite very valuable. I haven't seen one that's sold cheaply, which means the word is out. Everybody knows about these. So first and foremost, this thing is going to be tremendously underweight by a few grams. 4.3 is what this one weighed in at. They even took a picture of the scale. You got to do that. And here's a side-by-side of a regular Washington quarter with the one that was sold. And you could just see the difference in thickness. One is a dime thickness stock. The other is a standard quarter. This one sold for $82.45. And they traditionally sell between $60 and $100. The nicer, higher-end coins can go for a few $100. And one that I haven't talked about in a while. It just hasn't popped up on the radar as often as I'd like. 1944, you guys know this is a Silver War nickel year, so it's going to have the giant mint mark above the dome of Monticello on the reverse. This one does not have it. And no, it's not a strike through. What we have here is a classic Henning counterfeit nickel. These are widely collected today. And even though it's a counterfeit, a lot of people, you're going to have your detractors of these type of coins, but, this comes with a great story. This particular one has the looped R in pluribus as well, which is Henning's kind of signature on every single one of these coins that he did produce. Now, these are not silver. They're kind of a base metal. Probably, like an overstrike on a regular nickel is what was used here on this one. $275. To say the market has gone bonkers on Henning nickels is a vast understatement. I used to remember back in like 2014-15, you could have still bought this particular date of Henning nickel for around $50. All right, so yeah, the market has responded not exactly quietly. And yeah, kind of crazy how these things have moved in a direction that no one had fathomed. Yeah, cool one here. This is a Lincoln Cent that was struck through an early stage cap die. It's got a nice full brockage on there as well. So a coin that stuck to the die and never dislodged. So it was striking other coins with it. So the more coins that this die with a cap on there strikes, it's going to continuously, thin out that cap, make it flatter, and then after a while, the whatever design was on there is going to be completely gone. So this has a really nice heavy strike on the reverse, which is, one of those premier things to look out for. This one sold for $65. Again, that's kind of the normal price for these. 1996p Roosevelt dime that's off center by about 55%. Beautiful coin. Again, Roosevelts are just coming out of the woodwork in a huge way. The market is no longer quiet on any significant Roosevelt dime era. This one has a full date as well. This one sold for $40. Okay, so again, the narrative hasn't changed. Nobody's really grading these. Just keep them the way they are. You're still going to realize the full market potential for them. And the final coin of the night. How about a blind bat American Samoa quarter? Man, I love these things. I have yet to own one or find one. If I was on the East Coast, I'd be checking for these every single day. But there you go. Pretty substantial strike through on the reverse where the mama bat's face is. So it's pretty much obliterated on there. And the coin is actually in pretty decent shape. 4 years out from when this was first discovered, that's a lot of time for circulation wear. A lot of these have gotten beat up over the years. So it was nice to see this one. The prices are still holding pretty decent. This one sold for $154.36. My friends, that is a killer coin to end a PCMR on for tonight. Hope you enjoyed it. We're back on our Wednesday show. We're going to do another one, I think, probably Friday night into Saturday morning. I don't know. We're going out for the weekend, so I don't know how this is going to look. But anyways, the information provided is for educational use only, not financial advice. Please collect and or grade your coins responsibly. And thank you guys, by the way, for all your views and support. You have been a rock to me for keeping on going. I know things have been rough here lately with my voice going out and not producing as much content as I want, but I'd like to say that we're kind of trending in that direction of more regular uploads. If you haven't done so already, go check out the Vault Box video that I uploaded just earlier this morning from this video. Pretty nice one there. My coin dealer is a stud. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Always hunt, keep on collecting, and enjoy it.